Churn and burn, baby.
All right.
Hey now.
Mr. Kovacs Class. It's Mr. Kovacs Class. You might learn a ton. It's Mr. Kovacs Class.
He's interested too.
It's Mr. Kovacs Class.
And he's super cool.
It's Mr. Kovacs Class.
All right, today's lesson is going to be about suffixes, or I guess endings of words. And I'm going to share with you a pattern today. And then in your part 2, you're going to practice that pattern. And it should make like reading food labels and things easier, and also make your understanding of what's going on in Project Beaumont easier. All right, so here's today's suffix. Okay, food chemicals, or I guess we call them life chemicals. There's a couple of patterns we notice, okay? Like if it ends in O-S-E, os, it's some kind of carbohydrate. If it ends in I-N, it's a protein. In fact, I always remember protein also ends in in, so in protein. If it ends in ace, it's an enzyme, which is technically a protein, but it's a protein that runs a chemical reaction. The in proteins are proteins that are usually structural. And then every once in a while you'll see things that end in own or all. And those are usually lipids, and they're what we call hormonal lipids. That means they are steroidal chemicals. And it doesn't mean you're gonna get roid rage or become super strong. What that means is that a steroid is any kind of lipid chemical that easily slips through cell membranes. Okay, so like albuterol, if you're asthmatic and you take albuterol to stop inflammation in your lungs, the reason it works so fast is because it's a steroid. It moves quickly into those cells, and it ends in all. All right, so that's, right, here's a starch molecule. If you find a starch molecule, they're basically just sugars lined up, stuck together, and we call them oses. So the one that's most common is cellulose. Cellulose is just a bunch of glucose stuck together. Cellulose. Os. It's a carb. Cellulose. It's a carb. There it is. It's a carbohydrate. Cellulose. Notice ends in os. Oh yeah, this is a reproductive hormone. This is called estradiol. Estradiol is a hormone that's got a number of jobs, and one of the things it does is help to manage reproductive system, especially the making of eggs in females. Estradiol ends in all, so that means it's a, what is it? It would be a lipid, a steroid hormone. See how this works? Right? Let's see, you may remember Little Red. Hey everybody. He carries oxygen. He carries oxygen with a molecule called hemoglobin. Ends in in. Hemoglobin. 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 Ends in. That means it's a protein. It is a protein, hemoglobin. Somewhere in here. Yeah, there it is. Hemoglobin. Notice it ends in. Hemoglobin. And what else we have? Well, here's lactose, right? That's a carb, lactose. Lactose is a sugar, usually found in milk. Lactose, okay? This is amylase. Amylase is a protein that can digest carbohydrates. Amylase, all right? Let's see, here's cortisone. Cortisone is a steroid hormone, it adds an own. Right, it's usually used to reduce inflammation. Cortisone. Oh, here's the old albuterol. Albuterol is a steroid hormone. Keratin, found in hair, right? Ends in. It's a protein. So you're starting to see the pattern here. Penicillin, antibiotic, is a protein. What else we got? Deoxyribose, which is the backbone of your DNA molecule. It's the D in DNA. It's actually a sugar. Ose. That's an ose. So you can see there's lots of different, right? And so your task in part 2 today is going to be to identify different chemicals based on just how their names are. And then you can start to look at, food labels, right? Especially start looking at the ingredients, and it becomes very, very, let's see, here's a good one right here. I know it's hard to see, but this product called Fiber One, which is like whole grain, healthy, all this stuff. If you look at the ingredients, you can see there's a whole bunch of, let's see, there's maltose, a sugar, fructose, a sugar, sucrose, that's table sugar, galactose, a sugar, agarose, a sugar, saccharose, a sugar, dextrose, a sugar. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different types of sugars on this label. Actually, there's actually a 8th type of sugar on this label. It's called high fructose corn syrup. So like one of the things that manufacturers do is instead of putting like sugar as the number 1 ingredient, they just split it up in different types of sugars, and that way it can be, right, sucralose. I don't know if they're trying to pull one over on you, but they're just trying to follow the law, I guess, right? I mean, there's lots of, so when you look at food labels, you should be able to identify whether or not it's a sugar, agarose, dextrose, or maybe it's a protein. Gelatin is a protein, right? Like there's different ingredients. And so the third thing you'll do today is going to look at a food label, and you're going to identify the different food chemicals. Okay? So that's going to be your part 2 today. At least part of it.
Hot dog!
Right, so you want to check yourself after you complete this chart in part 2. Right? Amylase is the enzyme that just digests carbs in the mouth. Pepsin, man, works in the stomach to digest protein. Pancreatic juice works in the duodenum of the small intestine. She comes from the pancreas, but she works there. And she digests carbs, protein, and lipid. By the way, she's awesome. And of course, the incredible bile also works in the duodenum, but he's made in the liver, stored in the gallbladder, and he digests lipids. Okay, so you're going to, in your part 2, you're going to fill out this chart. And oh my gosh, I just gave you the answers.